Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my partner joining the Australian Defence Force and becoming a military family. Just before we get into it, I just want to put out there as a disclaimer that this is by no means the exact way it's going to work for everyone. The process in getting in is the same, but my partner and I had a few setbacks. So this is our personal journey. This is how it worked out for us and what we went through. So please keep that in mind. In 2018, my partner went and sat a test. That test gave him what jobs he'd be best suited for in the Australian Defence Force. So it was out of the Navy, Army and Air Force. It just listed what positions he would be best suited for based on his marks from that test. He then went away and researched a couple of the jobs on that list and provided them with 3 options he would want to go into and he'd want to be shortlisted for. Once he'd done that, the process was then to fill out some paperwork. So for anyone that knows my partner, I love him dearly, do not get me wrong, I love him, but paperwork is not his strong suit. So I helped him with his paperwork. He needed to fill out background information on himself, family, myself as his partner. We needed a whole array of information. Once we had done that, it was then sent off to the Defence Force and the process continued from there. So it was like physical and medical evaluations, psych evaluation, things like that before he was ready to go. Unfortunately, my partner had an appendicitis halfway through him trying to get into the Defence Force and also a head injury requiring staples in his head. We are lucky he's fully recovered from both of those. So because of that, the journey was delayed a little bit. So he was pushed back a little bit. He had a couple more medical appointments to have to attend than regular because of that. Once he got the call in October, he had 2 weeks really to prepare to be sent off to basic training. So basic training is what all the army do before they go off to do their specialized training in the area they choose to go into. So basic training consisted of 3 months at Kapooka. I'll insert a map somewhere on the screen for you guys, but Kapooka is just near Wagga and my partner was sent there in October. From that, he then was able to come home at Christmas due to the fact that his lot of course went over the Christmas period. So it meant he could come home, he could see family and friends. We decided not to tell our family and friends just because my partner and I weren't 100% sure on the process. So we surprised a lot of family and friends that he was home, which was really nice to have him home for Christmas. And then in January, he was sent back to basic training. At the end of basic training, he went through what they call a march out parade, which is a parade to say that they'd finished their course, that they'd passed the basic training and they were moving on to the next stage. So with that, I went up to Kapooka with a number of my partner's family and we celebrated him finishing up and attended that parade. Once he was finished up there, I returned home, but he unfortunately had to stay there a little bit longer to wait for them to send him on to the base he would be based at for training. So my partner was based at Simpson Barracks for his training. My partner is a signalman. He's, I believe, and I'll pop the exact name description that it is now, but I believe it's Battle Space Systems Communications or something like that. I'm notorious for never getting it right, but that is what his title is. He deals with radios and setting them up, so communication stuff. And that is what he did for 1 year. So his course went for a year. We were very fortunate that it was in Melbourne, so it meant I didn't need to relocate. I could continue working at my job at the time and also have time with my partner. My partner was lucky to have a room on base because we'd lived outside of the radius from base. So when you live outside a certain radius, you are given a room on base. If you live inside, obviously you get to live in your private residence. So because of that, my partner was lucky that he could come home when he wanted to, but when I was annoying him or he just wanted a bit of a break, he could stay on base. So it was good. Then once he had finished that course, they did another ceremony, and then it was time for him to relocate to another base. So now that he was fully qualified in his position, it meant that he could move to another base. With that, he had to put his name forward for what base he wanted to go to. He was lucky enough to get a base here in Sydney. We're very fortunate we live in a defence house, and we have been here now for almost 2 years. My partner loves his job on base. It's an amazing place to be. I love everyone. The community is really lovely. So that's been our journey, just briefly. I just wanted to sort of keep it brief and simple. If you want me to go in depth more into the journey and the nitty gritty, I'm more than happy to. Let me know down below and I can look to maybe try and get my partner in for that video. But yeah, for now, that's sort of just how it worked out for us. That's sort of a brief overview of our journey and how we got from being an everyday regular family to now being a military family. So I'll leave my social media handles and our Facebook page down below. Please feel free to hit us up if you have any questions or you just want to say hi. We would love to hear from you guys, and I hope you guys are having a lovely day.